fun and easy matchup. That's not Keen's style. Keen likes to play Renekton here and try to crush this matchup and get some resources from Cuz and try to get ahead and stave off some of that early game, or rather, you know, get some power topside in the early game so that you can then flex over the bottom.
Never mind.
The Fiora, yeah, the Fiora is how you buy time in a side lane, which he did in game 2 very well, so.
And also, this feels like the Keen choice, right? Like, this is Keen having a good time, wanting to just smash lane, and we've seen Fioras obliterate Cassantes. In the previous series, we saw that happen. Kana had a really, really good time into Dundun's Cassante on the Fiora.
The early game is really awkward for Cassante because before he gets tanky, he's very vulnerable to the stabs, you know, the actual lunges here from Fiora, and his vital spots are pretty exposed in general because his only real way to attack the Fiora and get his passive puts him in vulnerable range. It can be very awkward, and to get Q3, you have to Q twice before that happens to even try to get him on turret. It's very easy to riposte as well, so
yeah,
the early part of the game is really where Cassante is going to struggle. I think a lot of resources will have to be given over. Willer is going to have to help protect that top side of the map, which means bottom side gets a little bit more comfortable for the Zeri lane.
Well, we'll just have to see, because we are back to Zeri Lucian. We had a little bit of a brief respite from Zeri Lucian action, but now we're back there. Game number 3, the final game of the evening of day 1, week 2 of LCK, spring 2023. Having a look at some Sandbox fans here in the audience. KT fans as well, always getting their money's worth. And I think that if you are a fan of coming to LoL Park, watching League of Legends, and getting as much action for your money as possible, KT is the team you should support.
Full games all the way to 9 each and every time, just keeping the fans excited.
Oh,
that's
no,
not the right word. No.
None of the fans of that. None of the fans of that, Wolf.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, God. Okay, we need to just get straight onto the Rift so that we just ignore that. Okay, here we go. Onto the Rift. K3. All right.
Hear no evil, hear no evil.
Yep, exactly.
Speak no evil, hear no evil.
I have no idea what, nothing was said before this, because if this was the VOD, this is where it'd start, right? No, it's the draft. Dang it. This is going to be immortalized.
If you're on Leaguepedia, you know, maybe you skipped right to game start. You didn't.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
There's a draft timestamp and a game timestamp.
Yep, and the game's the important part, right? Because you get to see the picks, right?
By the way, I do have a little PSA
yeah.
for everyone because a lot of people have been asking us about this over the last few days. Hold on, I'm gonna have to potentially. Okay, just a word.
Like why wasn't Faker playing yesterday?
That's we'll talk about that on Monday. But the YouTube VODs, by the way, for those looking for our games, are under the Live tab on YouTube. That's where you can find them where you want the full VOD. If you want just highlights, it's on the normal tab. But if you want to actually watch the full VOD, it's on the Live tab. Because a lot of people have been asking us about that the last few days. So
oh yeah,
they're there. Just click the Live tab. The whole thing's there.
Also, all of the VODs are on LoL Event VODs as well, I'm pretty sure. Although they do get there a little bit later. So if you want to see the VODs straight away, then that's exactly right. Live tab in the LCK Global YouTube channel. There we go. Checking out some bottom lane as we do go through the keystones. Nothing really of note, as we can see here. Looks like we are going to go for the
it's first
blades option.
Yeah, first
aiming.
Lucian too with sorry to cut across you there with the with the ignite. So the deft variation of how you want to win this lane.
Ooh, true. That is a fun part.
So finally we get to see Envy play this Lucian. It's his first time all season. Talked about it before this series even started. Is he going to be willing to play it? Will Live Sandbox actually bold enough on blue side to give him, rather than the Varus, a little bit of harder lane control? Willer coming over here at level 3. Seen this one before. Aiming, going to ward.
Oh, this is not where you want to be, as he has to flash immediately. Nimbus Strike going to be enough to get him out of there. I really like the ebb and flow timing there from Kyle as well, just to make sure that extra damage comes in. So now, no flash for the Zeri. Bad times to ensue.
Ghost lane up here on the top side for these two.
Oh yeah.
Very common. It's very rare to see the flash Cassante in this matchup, as Willer's not done with the early game shenanigans.
Yeah, BDD, Force of Will is going to slow him down though, so doesn't have to flash just yet. Of course, if you do flash as the Syndra in this lane, you all of a sudden have a much worse time. So definitely a good thing for KT fans that BDD gets to hold on to that ability. As Lehen's going to move back down here.
Cuz pulling ahead in farm for a moment here because he's spent less time obviously ganking, so just has a little bit of a faster run through the jungle. All the significant, of course, with the changes to Scuttlecraft spawns and stuff like that, so not going to be like he's double sculling as a result of this. Will just be a trade of those. Yep, and he may actually just path quicker down here because of this move up. That's a very good ward there for Envy, nicely timed. Still vulnerable though, the long way around.
Cute. So Kaz is in position. See whether he wraps all the way around. Wants to hold on to the Vault Breaker.
No greed here for the turret damage. Inning's at least going to be able to hold this wave here as best as he can.
Ooh, Kaz is still here.
Lehen's hiding here also, I think, kind of gives this away a little bit, but they're trying to bait into like, ooh, Lulu a little bit vulnerable on a ward.
And I think KT know that there is a ward there, as you could see.
Yeah.
Kaz actually... was that Lehen's that took the Rift Scuttle? I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see the money pop up over Kaz's head, but it was also slightly off screen, so perhaps I was just...
That's reportable, so I hope not. Uh-oh!
Oh, no. The Lulu took the money by accident!
I don't think that's what this pause is about, but it would be very funny.
It would definitely be.
The timing is very convenient.
I wonder whether it's been like a heat pack explosion situation.
No.
You get to explain to everyone once again. I believe that was a reason why we paused in Challenger on Monday.
It is. It looks like there might be a Wheeler issue. We'll get the update to you guys very shortly here.
Okay. Nothing really obviously just yet. However, it is Willa that is struggling with something. We will immediately tell you as soon as we know.
Yeah.
What I know so far that has been written down is Willa.
Yes.
That's what I know.
That's who this is.
That is indeed who is on the screen right now.
Well,
that is something you probably knew.
He's going to have to stop talking for a little bit during this pause, you know?
Yep. We're apparently making Ji-sun nervous. She wrote that down. That might have made her more nervous, so I apologize for that.
Atlas is laser focused on getting you guys the update as soon as possible. He might get you like the letter-by-letter play-by-play.
It is going to be the letter-by-letter play-by-play. In fact, I would Ron Burgundy it if Ji-sun's just writing things down that I'm not supposed to say on air.
Usually, just to speculate as a caster, usually when there's a pause like this, a player is zoomed in on, but there is no referee present, and it usually means it's not a hardware issue, and the referees are working on identifying whether the pause was legit or not.
Oh, no. So, in-game image bug.
Yeah. I had a feeling it's not hardware related.
So this is going to require a restart. Everyone just restarts, I believe.
Chrono break.
We just hop back in. I think it's pretty quick. By the way, do you like that? Look, we had like a bit of a jam going on in the background.
The new pause music makes pauses pretty sick.
This is actually dope, man. Yeah. So apparently Bertel couldn't see Fiora weak points.
That makes sense.
Which I think that sounds like a good thing to pause for.
Okay, so Willer initiated the pause, which is why the camera was on him, but it's actually a Birdall pause.
Yeah, so the camera guy is now switched over to the pause target, as we can see. So I like that Ji-sun is correcting herself on the teleprompter, but we got it. I think everyone got it, so it's okay.
It says, the last time I'll read it is it says stop, which is what you should do right now, Atlas.
Telling me to shut up. But it's part of the entertainment. We need to make Ji-sun part of this broadcast as well.
It's not a telegraph, Atlas. It means please don't read it anymore.
I think that's what it means. In fact, she's actually going to come back tomorrow, and there's going to be this big line, and so that it's only Wolf that can actually read the teleprompter from now on.
You can't read that. You can't read what she just wrote.
Oh, it says I love Ji-sun.
She said not to read it.
Oh, God. Oh,
but you couldn't stop yourself when you saw that, didn't you? Because you just have to tell the truth.
I couldn't.
You have to tell the truth.
In fact, that wasn't even written there. It was just me. The issue is Bertel can't see Fiora passive issue. We've had other issues that have more funny names. This is pretty standard, to be perfectly honest.
Vitals issue.
It's a vital issue. That was our previous game. And he played pretty well.
It actually wasn't his fault. It's like kind of messed up, Atlas.
No, I wasn't saying that, but you know.
Well, obviously, guys, we are going to be regaming, or not regaming, but calling making lobby.
KTY.
Okay. Well, I think she's asking about why it's negative 18 degrees.
That is true. It is negative 18.
But she's like, it's negative 18 outside, but here in Law Park it's 42 degrees, I think, because it's really hot and she's nervous. No, actually, I read the bottom. It says, because it's just like, why? Because it's the summer of KT Roaster.
Oh, but it's spring.
Yeah. She's like, it's KT's summer now. I'm like, well, we're getting closer. And it says, ooh, it's hot there over Keen's head. Ooh, it's hot.
I like how you got very into that fan sign. What about this one? What's happening here?
Hold on, getting into it.
Oh, it's a bit of ooh.
It's a Cuz fan.
Uh-huh.
I guess his name is Uchan. I actually don't know his real name, but he says like, it says let's be happy at the bottom there.
Hey. We might be able to be happy once we're back onto Summoner's Rift to enjoy some of this extraordinary series. As at the beginning of it, not too much has really happened thus far. We have had, you know, some Lucian versus Zeri stuff going on, as we are going to be hopping back onto the Rift now. And Force of Will, not going to land onto closer here as let's take stock, Wolf, of what's going on. Keen, obliterating the lane in the top lane. You've got Envy, decent advantage
in the bottom lane. Flash.
Yeah, aiming, struggling. BDD also ahead by about 10 CS. So solo lane's doing well.
You know, we never did get confirmation of whether Lehen's got the scuttle or not. That's the one thing we
could
have. I think he might have, just because the number seems pretty low there for Cuz.
As now we've got KT fighting back here. Will is going to walk over a ward, and KT going to have to bail. Do get out of the area, aiming. Just wishes he had a little bit more range on that Q.
I mean, I think Envy and Kyle have such a good read on where Cuz is, because they obviously played that large passive. Whoa.
Gameplay button. All right, just needed another Dark Sphere, but doesn't actually have the range in order to get it. Gets the flash out of closer, though.
They played so much more safely during the initial parts of the lane, right, where it looked like, okay, Cuz was actually pathed really well. He might actually be able to threaten them. Then they showed a lot of respect. Now they clearly have the sense, or at least maybe it was communicated to them, where Cuz is, because they pushed it up aggressively again.
Bertle, it's on the left.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just helping Bertle out.
There it is.
All right, Bertle, it was on the left. Okay. Well, it turns
I hope we can see it this time.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think you can. Otherwise, I think we might have been back into a pause. As all right, we'll stand in the brush. Cuz is going to be able to take that ward down. Everything's going to be fine. Sork Shoes completed here for BDD.
Yeah. And I grabbed those early. Some extra movement speed. He started tier. And we have seen this Rod of Ages build before on the Syndra. But it is kind of awkward. We'll see if it is, in fact, what he's going to build, but seems like there's a pretty good chance. But he rushes boots first, so he's definitely not going to have it at the fastest possible time, if that's what he wants to go with here.
Ooh, Envy getting a bit aggressive, as you can see. Misses quite a few CS. However, the message was received. Aiming in a bit of trouble. Level 5 for our bottom lanes.
It looks like...
Bertle making his way around.
Yeah, looks like we are going to have a group up for Drake potentially here after this wave is cleared. Willer taking red buff first. This cannon wave is going to get pushed through. Becoming nature commentators here again a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little play-by-play, you know, just telling everyone what's going on.
Zeri unable to get the extender beam through the wall at that point in time. Currently, by pathing towards the top side of the map.
Yes.
But aiming in Lehen's will now struggle.
Now, speaking of top side, Atlas, a pretty significant CS lead to Keen, who's just trying to pull the wave into a nice spot under his turret here. We could have a little bit of action up there. Might be a time to look at the top lane here shortly, because if this Fiora gets ahead, the side laning win condition here becomes so much stronger for KT, so much faster.
Absolutely true.
But it's not happening yet.
Not so much. Willow now going to be starting off the Dragon.
There's that
Dragon Pit on the southern side of Summoner's Rift. I feel like we went from nature documentary to Weathermen, but I think it's working. As once again, some more fauna.
There's a Wukong moving to the southwest of the map.
It's a high-pressure system in the bottom lane.
We are forecasted for a Drake to spawn around 13 minutes 24 here. It will be a Hextech Drake.
Oh, well, the culling is going to come through here as Aqua Prison will connect onto the Lulu. Willa turning up over the ward.
6 is hit.
KT leaving the area as the Rift Herald taken on the other side. If a high-pressure system exists in the bottom lane, it does free up space on the top side of the map.
Well, this is going to be a plate, and we have so much power here on the bottom side of the map just with Willer having level 6 and the Herald being taken that back timing comes through here very awkwardly for aiming in the hands. This is so much money going over to Envy.
Yeah, this is massive.
He's played this lane so well that I'm actually kind of disappointed we've never seen him play this pick before.
Are we okay? Tidal Wave is going to come through. The flash comes out now. As there's a Wukong in the area, they can start this off 3 versus 2 anytime they want. As there's the Cyclone. Lehens gets the bad news, and he doesn't have flash. He's just dead. First blood goes to Willa.
So many minions being denied. We're talking about a 40 CS lead here in the bottom lane. Or sorry, excuse me, 30. Don't do math on stream. 30 CS lead here. I don't know why that happened to me. Casters just mess it up. And he's under a lot of pressure here now still, too. Vi has to come down to actually shadow the 80 carry just getting farm here. So it gives a nice back timing here. Gale Force up and ready here so early for Envy. And the action continues.
The gameplay button going to be pressed as, okay, Spirit Rush activated there by Closer, able to move out of the way of a few of these orbs. So not going to get the flash, but gets the ult out. But in trade for his own flash. So Vidity unable to lock that one down. Aiming, gets a bit of plate gold. But he's going to need so much more than that if he wants to be able to get anything done, as Cuz finally spending some time with his bottom lane.
It's, you know, the CS lead here is still pretty massive for Envy, and they really want to set up this dive. No 6 for Lehens. He's so close to it, but he doesn't have it.
Great Aqua Prison is going to come through there as Cuz dives towards that bottom side. They're looking to lock down Kyle. They'll grab that kill, but Cuz is definitely dead. BDD's here, and they tank up the turret for so long. Envy now just able to sit up and collect these minions as they head forward. Closer also gets some respite in the mid lane. Not the greatest dive for KT.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. Could have been cleaner, and let's watch it again. Oh, we're gonna watch this part first. This Tidal Wave forces the flash. Willer is still here, so can channel this back to see if they stay. They do. Double knockup, very basic. No real further need to explain this. The kill does not go over to Envy there, unfortunately. But down here on the bottom side, the aggro is juggled poorly. Envy's angle on his culling is also somewhat missed here, but Cuz just mistimes the miscalculates the damage. Envy grabbing a bunch of extra gold there.
Yeah, also didn't have flash, so just wasn't going to be able to get out. Vi, very good at getting in, not so good at getting out. So Bertle also still struggling here towards his top side. Couple of waves down, as well as going to move in, clear out that control waters. Bertle does get an ulti on the Keen, who gets himself out and didn't have any turret aggro, as Lehens is dead again, and now Willa having to run away, but does so very calmly and securely.
Worlds Willer, the player who went to Worlds.
Absolutely it is. Worlds quarterfinalist Willa.
Morgan and Willer, man, they showed up big. We saw the Hanwha Life Esports org suddenly, quickly, very similarly to DRX last year. Go to Worlds. Guy showing up big. He's communicating really well. He's even carrying his top laner and pausing for him.
Oh, yeah.
2 kills now on this
Wukong.
Yeah. We don't know yet, because we just keep seeing him do good things. And Lehens here just completely chain CC'd. Wild Growth not enough to save him. Willer holds the Cyclone, comes back in after the Wild Growth is procced. It's basic, but it's good. I mean, we're watching Envy crush lane. After watching the first series with D+ Kia, I never thought I'd see this. Then they never locked in the Lucian for him, so I thought maybe he's not capable of this. They trust him in this 3rd game, and their trust is well placed. Don't know what else to say. I mean, he's playing well. He's got Willer's support, and this area is falling behind.
Aiming will still be able to reach that carry potential later on in the game, of course, but right now it is looking a little bit dicey. The one thing that KT fans can be happy with is how Keen and BDD are doing, because so far, their lanes going very, very well. Keen up here, able to keep this shoved in, already taken a plate. Only 1 more minute on those plates and their availability. But here on the bottom side, this is where it all is.
I mean, it's
Sandbox.
a 2 Drake lead here potentially for Live Sandbox because of the setup they have, the prio they have around this bottom side of the map. 2 control wards set up here for Closer with his Ignite set here on Spellbook. So anyone tries to come in, namely BDD or the Vi, Cuz, who doesn't have Flash still, they die. So there's just no contest here, unfortunately. Summoners being down really hurting here. And yes, Keen is laning very well, but with no kill pressure up here and only a little bit of plate gold, the lead isn't enough to make me feel good about KT's mid-game here. Now, later on, as you say, eventually aiming will get the gold. That is going to happen no matter what in this game, I think. But the Fiora 2 will later on be useful. But at this moment in time, KT just really are getting a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. And it's a real struggle. The dichotomy of Lehens is coming through as well after an extraordinary performance in Game 2. This game, he's just been targeted. Does have his Shirelias completed as the Charm is going to hit a minion, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So BDD's still going to have to flash, but not going to go down or anything like that. Even money.
Speaking of BDD, you know, he rushed the boots out earlier. We talked about how that made it less likely he was going for Rod. He's not, even with the tier build here. Very awkward spot right now for Live Sandbox to try to get out.
Ooh, nice little stun onto Kyle, but he is able to get himself reasonably far away. But Keen is going for the flank angle, finds the riposte onto Kyle. He's the first to go down as the Grand Challenge has been issued and gives him all that health back. There's the gameplay button that we wanted to see from BDD. Is going to finally get a kill with it. As Bertle, here towards this top side, is going to be able to get some damage, but I don't know whether he'll be able to take the turret. Actually, probably will. As Tiamat completed now for Keen.
I like
KT come alive.
KT is so willing to actually say, no, you can't actually take this bottom turret and dive aiming again. We're going to group up to stop you. We have this choke point controlled with the Syndra. And this is Live Sandbox just greeting. You already got the Drake. Step away and hope that you could naturally push with the side laning you have here, or not the side laning, rather, with the 2v2 duo you have in an isolated matchup. You can take the turret down there. Do it passively, not greedily. They force this super hard. As you're on the wrong side of the map here, and escape is so difficult when there's a Syndra here. Keen is able to come down here for free, and there's just no saving this play, unfortunately. The Nami ultimate also not really going the way you want, as Kyle here to try to save the play.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird bad angle there because he's also stuck with them. Like if he was at a further back point, he might have been able to stop the rest of the team from collapsing in, but it just isn't going to happen.
The really good thing for KT to come out of that was 1-0-2 on aiming. So now able to even out the scoreline with Envy. Of course, he's a full item behind. However, any sort of route back into the game is absolutely a fantastic thing for this Zeri. Especially
the Zeri that's just freely farming bottom side here. They have a lot of control vision set up. I mean, look at how many wards are on the bottom side of the map to shadow him, essentially. He doesn't need Cuz's help, actually. He's just doing this by himself. So he's going to take this whole turret down by himself. And yeah, it's a lot of standing gold on the map here for Live Sandbox in that bottom side turret. They are able to push this mid.
Yep, but that standing gold is a long way away from Live Sandbox right now. So not able to get there just yet. Of course, no plates do go over to aiming in that push. Does get the turret gold though, and that is going to be first brick as well. So feels real good. He's going to go for a bit of a back, and we'll see exactly how much money he'll have to spend.
I think that Live Sandbox really botched the macro of this, because if you come down here and shut down aiming and you rotate faster, instead of kind of showing yourself their top side the whole time, he will get away because he has all that control vision and the wards we talked about, but he won't be able to take the first blood turret or first brick. And in the mid lane, what they were pushing for, they failed to get. Like, they only did, it looked like, because it was hidden on the minimap, it looked like maybe they had gotten more, but they really got almost nothing here, actually, on this turret. Bottom turret, as you mentioned, is so far away. You could look for the collapse onto this Zeri and then take that turret down. Instead, you tried to hard force the mid turret, and Zeri gets a whole extra brick worth of money.
No, exactly right. Feels like a bit of redemption for aiming. However, KT are going to still have to play it out well. And now Live Sandbox looking for the angle. The hands so fast. That was Skippy if ever I've seen it. And I have, because I'm Australian, and that's an Australian TV show. As the culling flies forward, and Cuz going to be in position now to try and defend. So Shirley goes down. As you can see, KT should be able to deny the damage at least. Or at least stop it from killing the turret.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially all that matters for now. They're going to group up here to continue to try to push this, but there's a threat on the side from Keen. Good rotation from Closer to stop BDD from getting top turret, too, as KT have so much control over the map, and now they could start to potentially look to fight for these Drakes with the side laning. They force Liv Sandbox to chase around the Fiora and the Syndra here. That means that even though their Zeri isn't strong enough to fight a normal 5v5, it might not be a fair fight because of that side laning advantage. Keen still has TP, BDD's TP online.
Yeah.
So 1-3-1 really strong for KT, and they have the advantage already positionally.
Oh, the stun is beautiful onto Envy. Remember, he doesn't have cleanse because he took that ignite for that extra lane power. As Bertle here towards his bottom side, Keen happily laning. This point in time is now KT. It's their turn to go for a dragon, and it's a Chemtech Soul, so not exactly the most valuable. They'll take what they can get, and they should be able to lock this one down without a contest. Of course, Liv Sandbox not too worried about it. They'll just look for this gold, and they'll be able to collect it here. As BDD underneath the turret does get himself a little bit of a snare on the closer, who takes a lot of damage there. I believe those splinters have been built up here, at least for that first upgrade for BDD.
Yep, last time I saw BDD on that Syndra, you went to a team fight without finishing the last part of it, but not happened this time, I don't think. As, yeah, he's on level 13 right now. He's got quite a few splinters in his pocket, you have to imagine. As Puzz goes in.
Yeah, that is a cease and desist to come forward here as BDD looking for Kyle. Immediately does get rid of him, but now he might just be entirely punished for it.
That was a choice that was made, and there was not a lot of information about the choice that he made, so it was from our perspective a little bit more obvious that it was not the right choice than to the player who didn't have the same sort of information, because there's a control ward here set up. Don't know where Kyle is, obviously, right now, but you know there's a Lucian nearby, and there's tons of burst damage, and Tidal Wave just locks him down for the extra CC, and we've talked about this so much today, specifically for Vi, is when you go in, there is sometimes no way out. And he dies, that's 2 kills going over, and suddenly, Liv Sandbox back in this game.
They are indeed. Ahead in kills, ahead in gold, and of course, the Drake, not all that relevant. 3-0-2 as well for the Lucian, so the kills are going in the right directions as well as Envy. Feeling very good, and I just can't believe that we're talking about this player in such a positive light at this stage, right? Because he did have such a difficult debut this year.
And that's why I keep saying, why did you put this guy in the Lucian before? You had so many chances to.
Yeah.
I think it might be his best champion this season so far. He looks really clean with it, and Kyle is the veteran support player that we loved with Prince all season long back last summer.
Well, cease and desist does come forward. There's Scat of the Week as Syndra once again throwing the orbs around, unleashing the power on Liv Sandbox, and we had some positivity. It's gone momentarily here as Bertle making his way towards the mid lane to help try and defend. Outer turret can be very, very important. Liv Sandbox have already taken that, gives them a bit of extra control, not wanting to give the same control over to KT.
Fiora in a side lane, such a big threat. Keen says, you guys can fight in the mid lane as long as you want, and you guys can keep trading. I'm going to push bottom hard. That's what he's doing.
All right, the culling doing a fair bit of work there onto aiming, but just a massage, not too much to worry about. Kyle and Envy kind of relegated to standing right here because there's not a lot of vision that they have there on the top side.
I was going to say, if they're starting Baron, that's a bridge too far. Just clearing some vision. As Syndra's going to back here. No TP. Now we have the Hydra online for Keen, so that's going to be a lot of extra wave clear for him on the side. He could push faster and more efficiently now.
Yep.
And, you know, when he gets to a hull breaker, which we have seen Fiora's at 22 minutes have hull breakers almost done, if not done, if they're super far ahead and we're given a lot of resources. Keen has kind of been doing this on his own. As this time, the play from Cuz is the correct one. The team has vision set up and they have way more control over the area. Follow-up CC from BDD. Absolutely makes sense.
Yep. Aiming now, heading towards those quick blades to come through. Now Runan's already completed, so in a few of these more brawly team fights, a lot of damage potential is now Willa looking for his opportunity onto aiming right now, and aiming didn't even have a chance to flash as Wild Growth is going to stop the Nimbus Strike, sidestepping a little bit, but it does not matter. All of Liv Sandbox bearing down on the bottom lane of KT. They might be able to take this inner turret as well.
This is like a turn-based JRPG, man. We're taking turns on who's getting picks. And it was Willer's turn, and he did a lot of damage.
He did indeed.
Will take a lot of damage there as well in the mid lane, unless that was a clone. and are going to back off. So inner turret goes down, lots of extra money, pushing the Zeri off the map, stopping her from farming. Even death timers actually could be quite impactful for the Zeri trying to rush to that second, third item, because the longer you spend dead, the less freedom you have on the map to farm. As Lehens just kind of leaves him out to dry a little bit, nothing he can do. But then he himself gets caught, waits to use the wild growth the last possible second, but there's just too much chase here with this Ahri who has ult and Everfrost available.
Yeah, it didn't really matter that a couple of those buttons went wide. Envy going to collect himself a red buff, and now we're asking questions about things like Baron. But first, this Chemtech Drake going to be coming up in 10 seconds time. Live Sandbox, Soul Point available.
KT don't have Fiora pushing it aside. She backed, grabbed the pickaxe here, so has to walk back here or TPN when the fight happens, but I think she has enough time. But it means that KT here, oh, this is an interesting choice. I thought, okay, without the Fiora that she's showing mid, maybe you just actually try to 5v4 this, but instead they're going to try to slow it down with Birdalt and rush a Baron.
Well, see whether Live Sandbox can do it. It's going down relatively quickly. They get the information, KT, the bad news is there. Live Sandbox can back away though, and the Drake has now been forgotten by KT.
Positioning
Sandbox will be able to find themselves some sort of fight. Scatter the Weak now on cooldown. In goes Willa. Finds the knock up onto BDD, but he has the wild growth to keep him alive. Cuz now trying to get out of there, but he's not going to be able to do so. As Amy's now trying to pop up, but he cannot make it happen. Keen getting into the fight, but he's being chased around. Does finally find closer here, but now he needs to run to get himself out of the way, and Envy is going to say no. Bertle's the one that locks it down in the end, and it's a double kill as he gets rid of both of the solo lanes. Live Sandbox, they may have just done it. They're going to break open the base.
I mean, those are some late kills here on BDD especially. He's 40 seconds away from spawning here. Ward goes up, they've got a minion, and they want to end this. They've got the cannon, Birdall's going to tank it. Here comes that cannon. They actually, I think, just barely might be able to pull this off.
Yep, first Nexus turret is going to get targeted down, but Live Sandbox, they don't bite off more than they can chew. They will take one Nexus turret and the inhibitor in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Soul Point is open for them to take as well. Going to scan wards here on the way back, but there's so many threats here, and this wild growth onto BDD isn't going to stop Wheeler from collapsing over and killing Cuz, who's cut off on the top side. Wheeler has had an amazing game of League of Legends.
An amazing series, to be
He really
honest.
has, because he does basically all of this alone, threatening 3 players, getting that wild growth, getting that flash, and it makes the Cassante follow-up here so easy. Just a clean play overall here from the Wukong player, and Aiming actually going to start this one up with Crew, because Live Sandbox were too low on health, don't actually group back for the Drake themselves, want to get a back timing. No one cares about it that much because it's a Chemtech Soul, so not that important.
Live Sandbox sort of saw the Chemtech Soul and they're like, well, I guess we don't care about dragons for the rest of the game.
Yeah, better not risk our advantage. Exactly, better not risk our advantage and just go home instead.
I think it sounds like a good idea. Close is going to grab this outer turret towards the top side. The bottom lane outer turret also extraordinarily low. And Live Sandbox can focus on getting Baron control where they can. Really like the position that they've got themselves in. Keen tried to be that team fighting Fiora, of course. It's the version of Fiora that we like the least. As Aiming will turn up towards this top side and collect these minions.
Keen having a very good time here, pushing the bottom side, but it might not mean anything here because the top side of the map is under Live Sandbox's control. They have the Baron vision set up. Birdall can join easily with the teleport. And this is how you want to play this one. You have the mid inhibitor. This is so perfect for Live Sandbox because the lane they want to threaten is the closest to Baron here, so they can just kite back with this vision. KT have to play this so slowly because, as I mentioned, there's so many threats. The Wukong in particular, you can't walk into that.
Yeah.
I think Live Sandbox should be a little bit more willing to pull the trigger on this Baron, especially because they have control vision on it.
Oh, zoom. Yeah, that was a cannon minion going into the ether, but that's absolutely fine. We're 27 minutes into the game. The main thing is this Baron that's in complete darkness. Cuz spots it out now. He's going to get scryed.
The plant is so strong here.
They haven't pulled off it just yet. Lehens thinking about coming on over, wants to put a control ward into the pit, but it is going to be stepped away from here by Live Sandbox. Extendo Beam gets that information for them. Keen moving on over, of course. Riposte, very important in this particular matchup. This point in time.
This is, I think both teams are so terrified. Like, this is the amazing part of Game 3s, right? And the fact that our league has regular season all season long with, you know, series, right? Is that you get to see the meta of this series evolve. We get to see the first time Envy plays Lucian. We saw the Caitlyn ban adaptation, and you can also feel the nerves here. I think a lot of teams pulled the trigger on that Baron much faster and much quicker and actually take that one away, but it's so tense here. The winner of this series gains so much.
Yeah.
So KT need to group for this, Cuz.
Yeah, that's another Cyclone as Cuz going to try and turn it here. He just gets put into the Aqua Prison, though. And Envy's going to grab himself another kill. 6-0-6 on the Lucian. I think Envy might be heading towards the POG as Liv Sandbox are heading towards the Baron.
It's a hard sell between him and Willer, but they have to win the game first, as Keen can't actually break through any further in this side lane. Aiming's not there for the Baron contest, and KT are just going to simply give this one up.
Yeah. Quick Blade's now completed for Aiming, but not going to stop this Baron from going down as Envy gets back towards the pit. They manage to lock up the Baron. Liv Sandbox in a brilliant position. Remember, they were also able to make that push, destroy that Nexus turret, so now with Baron minions, they can walk up a super minion wave and lock that one down. And Cuz, he's had a rough series, man.
We know that Fiora is bottom, Zeri showing top, Syndra showing mid. You have 3 players showing. And you are, as Liv Sandbox there, you are 100% pushing forward, and it's just not the right time to contest there, as Cuz, unfortunately, his mistake is trying to gain some more knowledge and try to find out what's going on, get some vision, because you're so desperately in a lack of control around that Baron pit. He dies for it. It's his 4th death of the game, and like you said, it hasn't been his greatest here on the Vi. I think part of it functionally is a draft problem, in fact, but he's just been cut off and punished by Willer another time here. And now they're going to group bottom side here. Get more turret damage done.
You already mentioned the fact that, okay, Aiming. I get cold for a moment. Envy is so incredibly strong right now. Last Whisper complete, does have his stopwatch as well. So he can go immune whenever he would like. Keen still side laning quite well, but as you can see, Liv Sandbox bearing down on this inhibitor. There's still the inhibitor in the mid lane that's exposed as BDD able to get out of the way there as the Cyclone from Willer gets the flash out of Cuz. Oh my goodness! The Whimsy shield, fantastic from Lahans to keep his jungler alive, but he can't stay in the area.
It's just, there's no tank for this comp for KT. Cuz is just taking all of the abuse. He's trying to be the frontliner, he's trying to catch this Lucian, but there's just too much damage. And without a Fiora here with you, what are you going to do? There's no flank angle.
Well, Closer is going to find himself the charm onto Aiming. Very nicely done. Bertle's losing in the side lane, but the inhibitors are going down, and KT, they only have 1 Nexus turret to work with. This 4v4, it doesn't even really matter, and Bertle's like, well, let's just all in. This Fiora cannot make anything happen. And the same teleport is going to come forward here as Aiming has an opportunity to find a team fight as now Cuz is diving in, Scatter the Weak, fantastic as Aiming hasn't actually been taken out just yet. Bertle takes out Cuz, but he is not the main character of this team fight. It is Aiming, and they're looking to get on top of him as the stun is brilliant, and they lock down Closer. But Aiming is going to get stunned up. The Q is too good, and the culling flies in. It's going to cull down BDD, and Lahans watches on in horror as they lose yet another series. Liv Sandbox, I don't know what it is with this team, but they've won another series.
Every time the doubters come out for Liv Sandbox, they perform. And after that D plus Kia series, I mean, I'm going to say it one more time. We've been talking about it all day. It was mentioned in that Hanwha series. People were like, oh, this could be our 10th place team. It just looked that bad. It looked that unrecoverable. And then 2 back-to-back upset wins against KT Rolster today, Hanwha Life Esports last week. And this team is suddenly moving up in the standings. And for KT Rolster, this is a disappointing loss. We talked about it before this series. They have so much more to lose in this best of 3 in terms of where expectations were for a pseudo-super team here. And Liv Sandbox, they do it again. Decisive plays from Willer, the player who communicates so much in the comms, the player who calls the pause for his top laner. And I just cannot believe this series happened this way, and the draft just doesn't work out. Keen looked like he was on another page to the whole team when he was pushing the Cassante backs, which he allows and then teleports in, and Keen's hitting a turret while his Nexus is dying. It was almost like one of those games you're playing solo queue where you're so frustrated and tilted, you're pushing a side lane, then the camera pushes you to the Nexus and you realize you've lost the game. It wasn't that egregious, but he wasn't there for his team. He's trying to split push all game long, can't find really extreme value. Like, he's killing outside turrets, but can't threaten the inhibitors. There's the culling.
Envy. His first Lucian game. He's already bringing out the celebrations as Willer punching the camera there, as you could see, as Kyle, once again, with a bit of a thumbs up. As G-Sun's asking whether I want to fix my hair. I absolutely do not. This series has really done it.
I'm not gonna sit up straight. You know, I'm just leaning down, man. I'm in awe. I'm a crumpled human.
Yeah.
I'm crumpled. The series had me creasing.
I think Valdez said it best after game 1 when he just said what. I think that's all I've really managed to figure out when it comes to both of these teams, to be perfectly honest. I think most of the good news is on the side of Live Sandbox, though. Not a lot of us had any real expectations for this squad, especially